San Gabriel Valley is about to get thousands of new homes. Every train station from Pasadena to Azusa is getting rezoned for density under a new state law. $25 million just got approved for new affordable housing across 4 cities. And LA County has a plan for almost 11,000 new units. And lastly, new construction communities are breaking ground everywhere right now. Sounds like a flood is coming, right? But here's the problem. Almost none of it is a home that you can actually buy. Most of it is rental. Some of it won't get built at all. And the inventory that is sitting right now, it's already softening in terms of price, but only on one type of property. And I'm gonna show you what's real, what's rental, and what's for sale, and what all of it means if you're looking to buy or sell in the San Gabriel Valley. So what's up everyone, I'm Calvin Chen. I'm a realtor in the San Gabriel Valley and I cover real estate, development, and community news here in our area. And if you're looking to make a move, buy or sell in the SGV, click the link in the description below. I love the opportunity to help you out. And today, we're going to go in depth on some of the biggest plans for the SGV. What's happening in the market right now and how these plans might affect the market. So before we get to what's being built, let's talk about what the market is doing right now because it's already shifting and pretty fast. And it has to do with inventory, the amount of homes available on the market. The more available, the more buyers have to choose from, and typically the softer the market. So here are our core SGV cities, year-over-year growth. Arcadia is up 2%, Temple City is up 24%, Alhambra is up 42%, San Gabriel is up 25%, Monterey Park's up 30.5%, Monrovia 3.9% positive, and Almani is 25.4%. And I would say a majority of that growth is condos and townhomes. And that's actually where I'm seeing the most softness and decline in price. More sitting on the market, more giving price drops, and the ones getting hit the hardest are the newer builds, hence not new builds, the 2015 to 2025 condos, especially the ones sitting near a brand new development. And I covered this in a previous video, so I won't go too deep here, but if you own one of those condos, you're definitely feeling it right now. So why is this happening? That's the big question. Honestly, it's uncertainty. It's that rates were supposed or promised to be dropped this past year and they didn't. They're sitting in the mid 6s. SB 326, the new balcony bill law, economic uncertainty with the war, and a lot of buyers are just sitting there going, what is even happening right now? So they wait. And when buyers wait, inventory builds up. Now, keep that picture in your head. Inventory right now is softening. Condos taking the brunt of the hit. Buyers hesitating because everything I'm about to show you that's getting built, you have to ask how it lands and layers on top of a market that's already doing this. And there's one scenario at the end where all this new construction actually could move prices in a big way. And I'll get to it, but it just depends on one specific thing that most buyers aren't watching. All right, so let's talk about the biggest one everyone's been talking about, SB 79. This is a new state law that took effect July 1st, so earlier this month. And what it does is huge on paper. It lets developer build those dense housing right next to major transit. We're talking about taller buildings, more units, near virtually every rail stop and major bus line. So the headline is thousands of new units all along the train line, and people hear that and think, great, a wave of new homes that I can buy. But here's what nobody's actually telling you about this state law. SB 79 doesn't say that these have to be for sale. The law actually allows both for sale and for rent. And when you look at what's actually getting built near these transit areas in the SGV, it's rental almost every single time. Look at Old Town Monrovia. Look at Old Town Pasadena. Those newer buildings by the Gold Line, rentals. That's the pattern. And if the past tells us something about what's going to be built, it's probably going to be SB 79 rentals too. And here's why. And this is the part I want you to actually understand. Because the law isn't forcing the rentals, it's actually the money. Building for rent is just easier to finance. Big institutional money likes rentals. Steady, predictable income every month. There are tax credit programs, bond financing, built around these rental housing projects. And the projects can qualify for bigger density bonuses as well. So the developer gets to build more units on the same lot. For sale is the harder route. You need more money up front, it's a harder loan to get, and the developer takes on more risk. So over and over, the math pushes developers towards the rental route. So when you hear SB 79 is gonna flood the SGV with housing, some of that, is true. It is gonna flood the housing market. It'll add units, but most of it's gonna be apartments that you rent, not homes that you own. And to be honest about what I'm seeing on the rental side too, right now Old Town Monrovia and Old Town Pasadena have vacancies, empty units. The rental market up there isn't as hot as people think. So if we pour a bunch of more rental units into that same market, nothing else changed. You don't really get a housing fix, you just get more empty units. That's my thoughts on what's gonna be happening with SB 79. And I'm watching this pretty close, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for the next few years. All right, so the next one, the $25 million, you probably saw the headline. The SGV Regional Housing Trust approves almost $25 million to build 212 new affordable homes across 4 cities: Montebello, San Gabriel, Alhambra, and South Pasadena. And it's a real deal. The biggest single award that this trust has ever made. But here's the thing that matters. Every one of these 212 homes is income restricted rentals. Not one of them is a home that you can actually go and purchase. These are for people below a certain income, and to qualify, you're generally under 60% of the area median income. And for a lot of these, well under that too. 2 of the 4 projects are senior housing. 1 serves families and domestic violence survivors, and 1 serves low income and formerly homeless residents. This is housing for people who are getting priced completely out. That's a good thing. But I want to be clear about what it is and isn't. It houses 212 families. It does not change what you pay for a home in Alhambra. It doesn't add a single for sale listing to this market. So when the inventory gets counted up and someone says, look at all this housing coming, a big chunk of that number is this, affordable rentals, which matters for the region. But if you're a buyer looking for prices to drop because of it, it doesn't touch you at all, or it doesn't affect you at all. Because a lot of that area has real limits. Hillsides, hazard zones, natural resource areas that you just can't build on. The plan itself acknowledges those constraint limits where housing can actually go. So the real number that gets built is going to be a lot smaller than 11,000. And it's gonna trickle in over 2 decades. So it's not a flood, it's just a slow drip. And one more thing, this plan was finished before the Eden Fire too. So it doesn't even account for what Altadena rebuild looks like now. That's its own separate story, and I'm gonna treat it very carefully in a separate video because it holds near and dear to my heart, and because there are a lot of other people's homes and their lives as well. So a big headline number, much smaller reality, especially with it being spread over 20 years. Okay, so let's put this all together. All this stuff's getting built. Does it actually move the SGV market or no? And my honest take is mostly no. Not the way that people think. Because when you add it up, the SB 79 stuff is mostly rentals. The 25 million is all rentals. And the county plan is a slow 20-year drip with real limits on it. None of that dumps a wave of for sale homes onto the market anytime soon. So if you're a buyer sitting there waiting for prices to crash because of all the new construction coming, I think you're waiting for something that isn't coming, at least not for that specific reason. But here's where it does connect, and it's people who already own condos. So first, think about who buys a condo. Typically a first-time home buyer. Now imagine a bunch of brand new rentals opening up nearby. Renting one costs a lot less per month than the mortgage on that condo. So what happens next? A lot of these would-be condo buyers just rent instead. They rent the shiny new place, they save up, they skip the condos to buy a single family home later, especially with the appreciation of condos that they've seen the past few years. That pulls demand right out underneath the condo owners. So all this new rental construction, it doesn't help the condo market. It makes it harder. And that's exactly the part of the market that's already softening right now, like I showed you in the beginning. Now, remember when I said there was one specific scenario where this could actually move prices in the big way? So it's SB 79. Now, if those projects actually come in as for sale instead of for rental, that will change a lot of different things. Because picture it, we're already seeing condos and townhome inventory spike, prices already softening. Now you drop a wave of brand new for sale units, direct competition into that. That's fuel on the fire. More supply into a market that's already gotten too much of it. So that means that more prices are gonna soften even more. If that happened today in this exact market, it would be a real problem for anyone trying to hold their condo's value. So the whole thing comes down to one question really. Do these get built to rent or to sell? Rental and it's more of the same. For sale and depending on where the market is when they finish, that's the one thing that actually moves the needle a lot. So what do you do with all this information? It depends on who you are. If you're a buyer, stop waiting for the new construction flood. It's mostly rental, it's slow, and it's not gonna hand you a cheaper house next year. What you should actually be looking at right now is resale inventory, especially 2015 to 2025. Condos are softening and you got more negotiating room than you've had in a while. Also, new construction communities that are condos and townhomes are offering crazy financing incentives to move units. I'm seeing rates in the 3s, 4s, buy downs that the buyer will pay. That is a huge monthly difference. And what people don't realize is that you can ask for that on a resale home too. A seller can buy down your rate. Most buyers just don't know how to ask or structure that into the offer, and most sellers don't offer it outright. So no one brings that up. That's exactly the kind of thing I walk my clients through as well. And if you're selling, especially a condo or a townhome from the last 10 years, you need to know who you're competing against and which builders and their incentives you're competing against. Pricing it like it's 2020 to 2022 is how it sits right now. There are ways to compete, that's just a conversation. Either way, this is the stuff I do every week. If you want to talk through a specific situation, I'd love the opportunity to help. So to recap, yes, the SGV has a ton of housing in the pipeline. SB 79 opens that up. $25 million of approved funds in affordable housing, a county plan for almost 11,000 units, but most of it is rental. Some of it barely gets built. Almost none of it is a home that you can actually buy anytime soon. So if you're thinking of buying or selling in the SGV, or you want to walk through what this all means for your situation, my name is Calvin Chen with Real Brokerage. Book a call with me, my link's in the description below, and subscribe if you want more videos about what's happening in the San Gabriel Valley. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.